We are live. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Intelligent Cycle back in here. So I'm gonna do three topics today. I'm gonna talk about what you're seeing on screen now with the Fantastic Four, first steps, movie news. I'm gonna do a rankings list, and I'm also gonna talk about the Kid Cudi album "Free" that's gonna be dropping August the 22nd. That's more insight. I want to talk about that album in between. So I've set to make this video. Then I'm gonna make another one, probably later on, covering the Clips, Tiny Desk, and the Sabrina Carpenter album, Man's Best Friend. That's coming out soon. But anyways, here I'm gonna talk about Fantastic Four real quick. I just saw some more movie news that I wanted to talk about. So it the first week box office numbers have ended, and it set an MCU record. So now it's set 7 full days in the theaters, and it's theatrically released, and it's meant to be the first part of the MCU multimedia franchise that kicked off in 2008 with Iron Man. That the new movie debuted in July the 25th, taking domestic opening weekend haul of $117.6 million. Per deadline, Fantastic Four First Steps took an additional 7.4 million at the domestic box office on Thursday. That brings the cumulative domestic total to 158.3 million at the end of his first full week in theaters, making it the best week one domestic total of any movie for 2025. And what does this mean for Fantastic Four First Steps? It should be easily become the highest grossing MCU movie of 2025. And although 2024's Deadpool and Wolverine both box office records that became the highest grossing R-rated movie of all time, it was preceded by a pair of 2023 disappointments from Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, which grossed 476.1 million, and its reported $388 million budget, which is Marvel's reportedly studios lost more than $200 million. And of course, with Fantastic Four out, and it beat both previous movies, Captain America: Brave New World and Thunderbolts, which both of those movies also underperform at the box office. Which this movie has continued to continue to go and move forward from a downward trend of the franchise. And its potential hurdle is the fact that it reported that the budget of the Fantastic Four Steps, which is roughly around 200 million, is higher than both previous MCU installments, which reportedly cost $180 million apiece. Both movies often need to earn back 2.5 times their budgets, and could place and even break even at this point as 500 million. And however it comes off and continue as its current trajectory, and First Steps could potentially end up grossing between 280 and $315 million at the domestic box office, and between 580 and $635 million globally by the end of its run, making it the highest grossing MCU movie of 2025. And alright. And additionally, it will probably put Fantastic Four First Steps in the black, literally making it the first MCU movie of 2025 to do so in theaters. Even if its total is not quite enough to make it into a full-on smash hit. Well, I will say this though, Fantastic Four First Steps is a complete step in the right direction. No pun intended. Is a step in the right direction for the MCU to really move forward with a lot of the quality of filmmaking. I feel as if with these kind of really good and exciting news breaking, previous iterations of the latest films in this newest phase, from Thunderbolts and Captain America: Brave New World, where it had poor market and had poor domestic box office numbers and grossing numbers on week one. I feel like with Fantastic Four, it's gonna push itself further, and it has a step in the right direction when it comes to previewing the next generation. In the next generation of Marvel and Marvel projects moving forward for Avengers, Doomsday, Secret Wars, and Of course, Spider-Man Brand New Day, which I broke the news earlier today, on that being released next year, and of course, behind the scenes teaser looks at the suit and stuff. So I hope to really see Fantastic Four really push itself further into becoming what could be considered another step for the latest Avengers movies going forward in the latest Phase 6 when we get to that point. And here, seeing these numbers, it really fits that mold, and it's a really good movie on top of it all. So I feel like we're gonna really get more big projects moving forward. And with all that being said, what you guys think of these numbers? So it's set in between from a hundred so for 158.3 million dollars for week one, but it could go and gross in the pair, and also broke Superman's numbers, which I said before of that box office, which it was at two, which Superman was at $220 million domestically for at that time. Now at the time it didn't break it at first because it was at 218, but now after just seeing over the first week, I feel like it's gonna break it once we get further down the line, and once it settles in everywhere else, not just domestically in the U.S. but overall internationally, and more drop and being the driving force in the kickstart and moving forward. And I think because of the impact of what we saw from the main forecast, and also from seeing an introduction to the form of what we know as Galactus, rather being his character being a dark cloud in the Rise of the Silver Surfer that came out in 2007. We saw actual better form in him, and of course, Julia Gardner's Silver Surfer, ball, like that was a really good character development, and really a stride to really show forth, the main addition of all of them from the comics onto the film. I really thought that it was a really good, and it also felt very futuristic. So, again, I like what I'm seeing from what the numbers that it's breaking, and I'm glad that this is going to be something for the future later of MCU. And I hope they focus more and get more films as far as quality on this kind of direction, rather than what we've been seeing later on. So, yeah, that's great. Oh, and I'm seeing people in the chat. Hey, how's it going, guys? I'm doing okay. Um, but yeah, the thing is, this is what you guys think about the numbers um, for week one for Fantastic Four? From what I just read, it was supposed to be 158.3 million from week one grossing, but it can gross in between for not just domestically, but around like 280 to 315 million dollars. But internationally, it's gonna. I heard it's gonna be making a lot of bank. So we'll see how that goes. Um, and if you guys have seen the Fantastic Four First Steps movie, what you guys think of it? Let me know. But yeah, that's just a little bit of piece that I wanted to touch up on. So yeah, I can't wait to see how it's gonna do. The numbers is what it's gonna be like when we get down to it, and I will come back and do more news on it when I get the actual domestic and uh, international numbers internationally. So yeah. All right. So with that story out the way, you said you saw. Oh, you said RRS new. You said you saw the Superman the day before and enjoyed it more. Oh, well, that's cool. What you like about it? Oh, that's a great feeling. What you like about it? But yeah, I'm gonna do more of a Batman ranking. So now that I broke that little slight news out to you guys, now I'm finna do a Batman ranking, movie ranking. So, and I'm only gonna do the Batman movie ranking is only gonna be for just the live action movies. It's not gonna be for the animated movies or the cartoon series or any of the comics or any of the 60 or any of the 60s cartoon movies or anything like that. It's just straight up live action from worst to best. Now let me just look at this. Hold on, give me one minute. All right, and we're not counting the Justice League nor Zack Snyder's Justice League because although those did have Batman in it, that's not officially a Batman movie or anything like that. Suicide Squad, none of those movies is gonna count. Joker, none of that stuff is gonna count. So we're gonna start from worst to best. Um, yeah, we're gonna start from worst to best. I had to think about this real quick. Yeah. So all right. So let's start from worst to best. Now, easily coming in last place, and in my opinion, is one of the worst of the Batman films. I would say is Batman and Robin. That is easily from '97. That's Joel Schumacher. That's easily the worst one out of all of them. I hated that movie with a passion. When it came out, it just completely just took it took everything of what we love about Tim Burton films and what we love about the addition of the Bat films back in the '60s with Adam West. It took all of those movies and made it into a complete joke. With no wherewithal. The acting, the characters is bad. The story was bad. The overall the villains, even played by Arnold Schwarzenegger's Mr. Freeze, the way his role in that movie was absolutely atrocious. That was just a film that we don't even talk about. We don't even associate in the whole installment. It came out as a Batman film, but to me it never felt like anything related as a Batman movie at all. So I would say I just couldn't take it. That was just too goofy and too cartoonish. Another Batman installment that was cheesy and too cartoonish. I would say is the Adam West Batman from 1966. That would be that would be next to last, and I believe that's at 11. 10, I would say is Batman v Superman. 8. Oh, excuse me. Number 9, I would say is Batman Forever. 8, I would say is the Lego Batman movie. 7, I would say is. Well, you know what? I am gonna count the Zack Snyder Justice League to make that interesting. So yeah, I will count that Zack Snyder Justice League. But number 7, I will say is. Hmm, 7, I will go. 7, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this direction. I'm gonna go this direction. So number 7, I will say. For me is. You know what? Number 7, I'll just go with Batman Returns for now. It'll probably it'll probably change, and they're doing this ranking. They'll probably change by the end of the by when the next time I'll ever come back to this, if they ever make Batman Brave and the Bold. If James Gunn is probably gonna work on that, but yeah, I'll say Batman Returns will be at 7. 6 I have is The Dark Knight Rises. 5 I have is 5 I have is Zack Snyder's Justice League. 4 I have is Batman 89. 3 is Three is Batman Begins. Two is Mask of the Phantasm. Batman Mask of the Phantasm in '94. And then one is pretty much without a shadow of a doubt the best Batman movie is The Dark Knight. And if you guys have your listing of Batman movies in chronological order, not counting um, any of the other films like Joker or Flash or anything, Batman may have made cameo appearances, but that's not anything of an official Batman movie. Not counting those. Give me your Batman rankings from least favorite to favorite, um, and tell me what you guys think about that. Oh, and I forgot about Robert Pattinson's Batman. You know what? Yeah, I almost forgot about Robert Pattinson and Matt Reeves' Batman from 2022. Matter of fact, you might need to. I'm gonna scratch the Mask of the Phantasm one out since I did that. Nah, we're gonna take that out and we're gonna put Matt Reeves' Batman from 22 and at number three. Yeah, we're gonna put Matt Reeves Batman from 22 at number three, and we're gonna put Batman Begins at number two, and The Dark Knight at number one. So yeah, we're gonna leave it straight up there. 'Cause I almost forgot about that one. Um, but yeah, that's my list of the Batman rankings from worst to best in order. So tell me what you guys think. And the last story I'm gonna talk about before I get on out of here is I'm gonna talk about the Kid Cudi album. It was set to release. Okay. All right, guys. So, yeah, I'm gonna talk about the Kid Cudi album announcement of his album Free, which is set to be released and confirmed by him to release August the 22nd. So here's some more of a story behind the scenes action about that. So Kid Cudi shared and confirmed the release date of his cover art for his forthcoming studio project Free, which is Free is set to drop on all streaming services on Friday, August the 22nd, with a cover art from Norman Jean Roy. The album's second single, Grave, is slated to drop, which it already had dropped on July the 11th, which I had heard the song and it was actually pretty good. And it officially lifted the curtain of his studio project entitled Free. It's now confirmed the date at the end of August, and it's set to drop. And here's the album cover for that. I wanted he said in the post, he said, I wanted something that really expressed freedom. So the concept of me leaping into the clouds made so much sense. He wrote in his post caption, inspired by the Truman Show. I can't wait for you guys to hear this album and really see the album art brought to life. You're in for a beautiful ride, promise. Additionally, the album's second single, Grave, along with its accompanying music video, is set to be, of course, on July the 11th. Already had passed. Follow up the lead single, Neverland, which Cudi unveiled back in May for his Tribeca Film Festival debut. Of course, as you can see from the cover art, that's from his album Free. He said basically was inspired by the Truman Show. I heard about rumblings about him releasing, confirming the release date for his album Free, and I cannot wait to hear it. I am a big Kid Cudi fan. I've been a Kid Cudi fan since the first Man on the Moon project and A Kid Named Cudi. So this is just really, really exciting for me to see this happening. This definitely is going to add a lot. This is definitely going to add a lot of intriguement for me. The single Grave really just shows Kid Cudi really is trying to go into another avenue, a step in a different direction in his life, and of course, being free like from just the obscurity, and of course, from what the record labels and plus anxiety, him having a lot of these, going through trials, tribulations, like in his personal life, anxiety, just him going through a lot when it comes to the music and the record labels, just stuff that was going on personally that really kind of just affected him overall. That really he needed this kind of a break to try to a break in the in the cycle for me. So yeah, man, I can't wait to see what was gonna happen with this album, man, and this is gonna be something special. So, And from his last project, which was Man on the Moon 3, and not counting the movie soundtrack, I think it was Intergalactic, and not counting that because I didn't really care for that one. But his last actually, studio album, I believe, was Man on the Moon 3, which that project, to me, I wasn't really as much of a fan of. I was kind of underwhelmed by some melodic performances on there. It didn't really add any measuring, and I didn't, and also he did the release of the project Insano, which I didn't even listen to that project because I heard it was bad, so I wasn't really even gonna doubt. But the last official project I listened to was Man on the Moon 3, and again, I thought that project was pretty underwhelming. Didn't really have a lot going on with it, and it just, to me, the melodic performances on records just didn't really hit as hard. It didn't really hit for me like I would have expected to from a Cudi project, and yeah, I just felt like it was something missing, whether it be just melodically, the tones. He don't really have this. He didn't really have the same. He didn't really have the same formula to me. But other than that, I can't wait to see what he's doing with this record because from what I've heard, the past couple of records, he's really getting back into his bag. So yeah, that's all I got to say, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Like, sharing, and subscribing. If you can do that. And yeah, I'm gonna be out of here. Peace.